Hi, I'm Tony Bergaretta, Senior Sales Manager at the Oral Health Group. On behalf of the Oral Health Group, I am pleased tonight to present you a webinar put on by Cheryl Kanhai, President of Maxim Software Systems. Cheryl Kanhai's journey began in 1999 when she joined Maxident. She quickly rose through the ranks from sales rep to sales manager to general sales manager before taking the reins of the company in 2011. Over the past 15 years, she has advised over 1,000 dentists in implementing dental software systems to improve office efficiencies, increase productivity, and boost income. Her dedication to Maxim and its clients means Cheryl spends many hours and much energy to provide new products and services to further enhance dental offices, and continues to maintain close contacts with Maxident's family of software users to ensure their ongoing satisfaction. Cheryl plays a key role in driving the company forward and constantly strives to keep Maxident moving into the future. In this webinar, you will learn how to boost your income by at least 20%. Cheryl will demonstrate how Maxident software can streamline your practice workflow, collect data, and teach you and your staff how to monetize it. In this step-by-step webinar, you will learn how much more income you can earn using Maxident's free practice potential calculator, along with Maxident's 3 exclusive income systems. Cheryl will lay it out in front of you in easy to understand terms. The webinar will feature a live Q&A at the end, so please do not hesitate to submit questions throughout the presentation using the GoToWebinar software. Thank you for attending, and I would like to pass the presentation over to Cheryl Kanhai. Thank you and enjoy.
Thanks, Tony, for that great introduction. Thanks, everybody, for attending. I know it is your evening, so I'm going to be my goal today is to teach you something. I don't want to have this being a long, drawn-out webinar. I like to have it punchy to the point, and you'll learn something, and it doesn't seem so difficult to understand more of the business side of having a dental practice. So again, thank you. So I'm just going to get right into it. I have something like 23 slides, and that includes the title page. So it's supposed to be light and easy this evening. So I'd like to start off with my bio page. You can see that Tony has basically explained all of this information, and that's nice. Like some of my achievements and accomplishments, you can log onto our website, read about me. That's great. Nothing to brag about because I don't look at that. I look at what more I can do, not things that I've done. So just to understand some of my personality, I've always had a really good relationship with my clients. So I've always had an ear to what their problems were. So I've always said to them, tell me what more they need to achieve. And I've always had that personality because I've had the means and the resources to come up with solutions. So, and most of my clients they're friends today. They use Maxident, they grow with Maxident, and I improve their practices. But it's been a really great ride for the last 17 years, and it's not a job, it's not a career. Dentistry is a life. So, and now that I own the company, this is not a pitch at all. I don't want you to feel that that's what the goal of today is. Today is you're here to understand the software, the owner, and you understand the promise that I'm here to make you. So it's the same as your dental practice. If you really think about it, it's your name that's on the door. And it's the implied promise that you make to your patients, and that's kind of the same message and feeling that I want to get across in this webinar. So, but I'm going to get to the meat. Is there really an easy way to achieve higher income? So I'm going to tell you a story. I can tell you many stories. I can sit here for 2 hours and tell you stories, but there's one in particular that struck me. So I've had a dentist who had a practice for 15, 17 years. He was on a different software program. He had the grief, and that's exactly what I'm going to call it, grief of trying to figure out how to make his practice more productive and more efficient. It was eating him alive. Not only he became ill health-wise, stressed out, it stressed his marriage, and he didn't know where to turn. So, and of course, he ended up talking to me, which was great. So I was able to really understand the challenges, and this is deep inside dentists. They love and have a passion for dentistry, and that's great. I couldn't tell you how to do dentistry better, but I can tell you how to run a better, more profitable, and efficient dental practice. That's my strength, and that's, if you wish, my high. Much like you have a passion for dentistry, I have a passion for the business of dentistry. So, and every business, it doesn't matter what you are, struggle with income needs every day. And for us, the way I view it is it's our responsibility to solve the business problems for dentists. I take that very seriously. My team takes that very seriously. So I certainly hope that today you're going to learn more things about your dental practice and how you can actually increase your income. I'm actually going to take some real numbers and I'm going to show you point blank how streamlined we've made it. It's not easy, but we've made it streamlined. So here's something, you're going to learn something new. The goal here is not to buy something. If these are your practice characteristics, then if I can say you're in luck, if you wish to call it that, because this webinar is targeted specifically for you, and you're going to get the most benefit out of it. This applies to everybody. Costs are increasing. Let me go back to that. Costs are increasing, disposable incomes are increasing, and savings are decreasing. Technology is costly. Digital x-ray sensors, cameras, websites, upkeep for computers, networking, downtime for doing that is very costly. When can a dentist ever get ahead? I mean, we're all facing the same challenge. Everything's going up. Your salaries are going up. Staff is demanding increases. Taxes are going up. The cost of sundries are going up. Real estate goes up. The cost of food skyrocketed. Like, really, it affects everybody. So when can a dentist get ahead? This is, hopefully, you'll get your eureka moment today. So here's just some facts. This is fun facts. Every dental office, virtually 100% of them, but 99.9% of them have software. You have to understand that dental software has been around for 35 years, if not longer. So if you think about it, all the systems, all the practice management systems is more or less operational. In essence, we all do the same thing. I'm the first one to admit it. There might be some variances, but for the most part, we all send claims, bill, print schedules, have a scheduler, print receipts, email and communicate with patients, etc. So it's operational. It is a pillar in the practice, nothing special, but you need to know that a lot of the software systems today is more or less the same. So the practice management side of it. So one of the other things that is key is that more and more dental offices are digitizing their x-rays. And I'm going to actually start giving you some numbers because I have this so you understand the scope of it. So there's just under 20,000 dentists, registered dentists in all of Canada. I can think the number something like 19,100 or something like that. There's just under 16,000 dental offices. Of those dental offices, about 30% of them have digital x-ray, and that is the growing trend, like I said. So, but you need to understand that just because you have digital x-rays, it doesn't necessarily have any direct correlation to production. It might save you money, save you time. It'll allow you to do more in less time, which is awesome. But basically, it's an internal improvement. More patients aren't going to book appointments because you went digital. Same thing with paperless. The other statistics, about 97% of dental offices in Canada are paperless. 7%. 93 of them still have that wall of charts. So, and paperless it's the same principle. It's an internal improvement. Just because you went paperless, although you're going to save time, money, reduce redundancy, reduce errors, standardize, it's not going to have a direct correlation for patients booking more appointments to boost that income. I've got a critical slide here, and I'm probably going to spend the most amount of time in this webinar on this part. So if you think about this, I just finished saying 97% of them are paperless, so therefore 93% of dental offices have a wall of charts. So if you think about this, every day for the past 10, 15 years or longer, you've been building up this wall of charts. It's like I look at it as a trophy wall. The longer you've been in practice, the bigger the wall is. So, and a lot of dentists personally take pride in that wall. You might not consciously look at that as a trophy wall, but you look at that and you internally feel a sense of pride because that's where your patient information is. But every day you've walked in your practice, you have built this practice up over years, and every day that you've walked into your practice and walked past your wall of charts, or heaven forbid your receptionist probably still sits right in front of them, there is a treat in these charts, and that's what I'm going to get at. You have to also understand that your charts are an operational area of the practice. So every day your staff pulls charts, they refile daily. But what you really need to know, and this is the treat that's in there, is have you honestly thought about what's in that wall of charts? Most dentists haven't. So you have to think about this. How many patients, I can tell you what's in that wall of charts, how many patients need or have fallen behind on the recall? It's buried somewhere in that wall of charts. How many patients need treatment to see you for restorations? Again, that information is buried in the wall of charts. There's so many circumstances that support this. I mean, maybe the patient, even though you have a pre-booking policy in your practice, maybe the patient couldn't book at a time because they had to check their schedule. So what systems are in place to track that information for your staff to take corrective action? What happens if a pre-authorization is sent electronically, obviously, to the insurance company, and you're waiting on an approval? What system exists for your staff to actually, of course, and follow up on that pre-authorization? For heaven forbid, you can't call the insurance company because they definitely won't talk to you. That point there is something that's critical, and I'm going to touch upon that again. But you have to know that your wall of charts is kind of like the center or the eye of the storm. It's where everything is stored. It's like a living, breathing thing. It's constantly moving every day. You're pulling, or your staff's pulling charts, filing, pulling information for insurance companies, pulling digital x-rays, whatever it might be, or lab sheets, anything like that. Everything gets pulled and filed back into that wall of charts. But the last point here is the biggie. Think about the process in which you do an exam. So you take, I don't know, 5-10 minutes out of your day. You're already busy. You've got your own patients to see, but you go and you do an exam for your hygienist. So I don't know, we'll just chalk it up to 10 minutes because the math is easier. 10 minutes a day, give or take. You might spend 5, but let's allocate 10 minutes here. That's at 8 patients a day plus your own. That's almost 1.5 hours of your day. Just think of that. 1.5 hours a day times 5 days a week. If you're open 5 days a week, it's almost 1 full day of exams. And you're actually handwriting them in the paper chart. As a result of these exams, if you think about it, how many of these patients have been sent out for a pre-authorization and no one's followed up on it? Think about what insurers are doing nowadays. Now, this is one of the key things that I learned from 15 years ago. When I first started, this was the interaction between dental office and insurance company, and let me explain this. Most offices had digital, like film x-ray, not digital. It was very expensive, and literally less than 1% of patients of offices had them. So you would send a pre-authorization out. You would literally mail that film x-ray to the insurance company. They'd adjudicate it. They would send back the x-ray to your practice. Somebody in your practice would receive that x-ray and do one of two things. It would be a trigger for them to call the patient and follow up and book the appointment because the insurance company is done with it. Or, depending on if staff was trained, they'd actually pull the patient's chart and file it away. And hopefully that patient would call and say, I got an approval from the insurance company, let's book this appointment. Probably that doesn't happen because most patients don't proactively think about their dental health. So that was 15 years ago. And getting back that film was the trigger, key thing. 30% of dental offices and growing are going digital. What does that mean? You don't have film as a trigger to send back to the insurance company. So what are you doing? You're printing the x-ray on photo paper or regular paper, and the insurance, you're sending it manually to the insurance company, and what they're doing is they're adjudicating it. It's not film, so they're not mailing it back to you. They're actually discarding it. They're shredding it or throwing it away, whatever it might be. So what is the trigger in your dental practice? Not to mention, 15 years ago, there was 4 insurance companies that basically only kept in touch with the patient. So the patient would, the insurer would call the patient and say you've been approved, or send them a letter saying that they've been approved, and it was up to your dental practice to, when you got the x-ray, that was the trigger to call them to say, listen, we've got to book this appointment. Did you get the approval from the insurance company? That's nice and simple. But what's the recourse now? The other insurance companies, so there's 30 good prominent ones in Canada. The rest of them have followed, are now just communicating with the insurance, with the patients, not the dental office. So what recourse do you have? You're no longer getting the film. The insurance companies have changed their internal system. This is absolutely critical. Changed their internal system to communicate with the patients only, leaving you out of that equation, or your practice out of the equation. That's not good. If they've changed their systems and communicate only with the patient, what have you done? Do you still have that same software program that you bought 10, 15 years ago, and you're still maintaining that? But the software vendors have not adopted this. This is something that I have delved into. I've made sure Maxident has changed, and of course changed to the environment. Therefore, has reports and information to give to your staff to ask for recourse to take action. These are some of the key things. The other alternative is, if you're still using that old dental software program, and this is the first you've heard of the changes that's happened with insurance companies, somebody's got to manually think of a process and a system and teach the staff, enforce it and police it to make sure that they're constantly doing their job. How difficult is that? So today you need software which is automated to identify these income opportunities. We're both too busy. Insurance companies have changed their systems. What have you done about that? And what have you done to change your own system? Not that I want to gild the lily, but if you have thousands of active charts, or the bigger your wall of charts are, you have more money sitting in them. So, and this is what I wanted to show you. I've actually got some real numbers from a bunch of dental offices. I went and ran some reports, and this side's only on the treatment planning side. This has nothing to do with the recall, but I wanted to show you the amount of money that we're talking about. So we've got a dental office with 1,000 patients. They had $300,000 in treatment plans. We had another office that had 4,500 active patients. They also had $300,000 in treatment plans. And you can tell that this office here with 4,500 patients was more efficient than the one with 1,000 patients. 8,000 active patients had $700,000 in treatment plans. Like, that's crazy. 6,500 active patients had over $1 million in treatment plans. Like, it just, the numbers are crazy. 5,000 active patients, $1.2 million in treatment plans. This isn't beans. This is critical to income. You need a system like Maxident who will identify these income opportunities. I'm not here to sell you something. I'm here to educate you. I need you to look at and understand the practice management software program that you're using, and how the environment has changed, and how your software fits you or doesn't fit you, and or if it's changed with the environment. So how can you use this information you just learned to increase your income? You don't need software. You can do it manually. That's a fact. I mean, you got to hire somebody. You got to train somebody. You got to make sure that they're, and you know how fun that is. It's got to be a full-time job because, like I said, your wall of charts is like a living, breathing thing. People are pulling information from it and refiling things. So somebody's got to understand dentistry, understand your writing, Always be honest. It's a full-time salary. You got to train, not to mention you got to police, right? So you're busy enough. I'm busy enough. So the other alternative is you can have a staff meeting and have your existing staff do this over and above their current jobs. Again, we're busy. It's probably not a good idea. Your staff's not going to buy in, or they're going to do an inadequate job. So your results are going to be also inadequate. Lastly, you can just leave it the way it is. I mean, it's status quo. You've, over the last 10, 15 years, had a decent living or great living. It's just you'll have to live with the ever-increasing costs and demands on the income. So you don't have to do anything about it. So we can go back to the original slide. The original question was, is there really an easy way to achieve higher income? And I just want to show you, just talk to you about the introduction to Maxident and how it's different. Now, I certainly hope that you understand that what's in Maxident is actually things that from talking to dentists and then telling me what their challenges are, solutions that I or my team have thought of and added to the software program. So it's absolutely clear and critical. You need to understand Maxident is state-of-the-art. That's nice. My staff, they're all geeks, and they love technology. They live, eat, and breathe technology, kind of like how you guys live, eat, and breathe dentistry. So they've taken the best that we could possibly use and implemented that in Maxident. So because it's state-of-the-art, it's smart, and I'll show you more. It increases productivity and income. Otherwise, what's the point? It automates the 3 income systems. Now, this is the only time that I've actually shown you that there's 3. As I mentioned that. Maxident connects the dots. So key things, I've identified them, we've connected the dots, and we can teach your staff to do something about it. And we can do the policing, so you don't need to, which is beautiful. So let's go into treatment plans. This is Maxident's Never Lose treatment plan system. This is for the restorative department, if I wish to call it that, in the dental office. So this is for your side of things. So if you have paper charts right now, you're handwriting treatment today. And all you need to do is replace that paper chart with a graphical electronic chart, only if you want to. This is critical. You do not have to move from paper to digital. You can still keep paper, but we've got algorithm systems built into the software that's going to capture the treatment plans, whether it's from the electronic chart or not. So Maxident will instantly identify the patients that need treatment plans, with treatment plans, and this is something that I've coined. This is the industry's first aged treatment plan report. Now you guys are going to be thinking, well, I have an aged report in my current software now. You have an aged AR report, and that AR report, it lists and ages the money that patients owe you for work you've already done. This aged treatment plan report ages the work for patients, the treatment for patients that you need to do. Key thing, this is before they become a receivable. This is so you can organize your income and actually control the income and income flow. What that also does is it gives you recourse for tracking the treatment plans and making sure they don't go stale. So this is the Never Lose a Patient recall and appointment system. This, of course, is for the hygiene department. The idea is it keeps her chair full, but what it does is it tracks patients with recalls and no booked appointments, tracks patients who have fallen through the cracks. Obviously, that's a given. Never lose a patient. And you can customize frequency for patients that need more perio. So if you wanted to track patients that have pockets of 4 or more, you can actually just generate a list of all those patients that have that condition and track those separately and pay more attention to them if you wish. It's actually very nice recall system built into it. Last but not least, this is the part of the Never Lose system. This part's the critical part. So while you and the hygiene department are producing, we are optimizing the business side of the practice with smarter, better software with Maxident. So in essence, You can go ahead and read this. But in essence, what it does, to summarize, it makes sure you get paid for the work that you're about to do. Great. It gives your staff recourse to deal with hygiene, treatment planning, and most of all, insurance companies. Remember, if insurance companies' systems have changed, your systems have to change to match that. And most of all, it maximizes the income based on insurance policy and patients that need treatment. So I'll give you an example. It's November. So for patients that have an insurance policy that's going to reset in January and they have a treatment plan outstanding in their in Maxident, it will flag your staff to, these are the patients that have insurance, have a treatment plan, there's room on their insurance, call and book them. There's no reason why they should not have an appointment. So whether it's a pre-auth or just something that's under their regular coverage, it tracks all of that. So I mean, these are very common sense things, but other systems don't have it built in. These are the 3 income systems. So are you still skeptical? Probably. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to, I'll advise you to go to my website, which is www.maxidentsoftware.com, and go to something called the practice calculator. Now, if you just give me a moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the screen. So this is my Maxident website. So go into the under solutions, practice calculator, and you're going to plug in numbers, and it's going to, again, it's got calculations for you to figure out sort of from the recall, here from the recall department, if you wish, the hygiene department, the treatment plan department, the insurance, which is the admin department, and calculate your potential. Now, this is all based on information that you're plugging in initially, so go ahead, log on. It's unlimited, so go ahead and try this. If you have questions on how this works, by all means, give us a call, and I'll go through it. Just be ready to bring your data. Simple things like number of hygienists, how many active patients, the average fee for a recall. You can, like, simple little things like that, and we've got algorithms to figure out and let you know how much income is sitting there in your charts. Okay. I'm just going to get back to this. There's something also that I wish to, well, one of the characteristics you would learn about me is I've always had this philosophy: if something is good for my business, it's good for your business. So I'll give you an example. We have something called MaxiVault, which is an online off-site automated backup. Well, initially I started to look for a solution for Maxim. And when I found it, after a year of research, believe it or not, when I found it, I thought, well, if it's good for me, it's good for my clients' dental office data. Well, majority of my customers are on it. Point of sale is another thing. I was looking for a good point of sale company that would obviously take care of Maxim's needs, and lo and behold, I learned that they would do integration into practice management software. And what that does is streamline and get rid of the balance and grief and transposition of numbers and integrate nicely. So your Visa, your MasterCard, integrates nicely into Maxident. So there's no more balancing issues. At the end of the day, whatever it says in your bank statement is exactly within your bank account. It's beautiful. Now there's a government training grant that pays for up to 66% of your training costs. Now, I know for a fact Maxim's used this grant. I know it works. We've used this grant for our own staff. So, and some of my own clients have applied for the same grant and gotten approval to get more Maxident training to enhance their practice and systemize more things and adopt more Maxident features and functions and things and processes like this. Systemizing their office is easier. Doctors breathe easy. Government pays for 66% of the costs. Give me a break. Like, that's a lot of money. And you and the staff get the benefit. They're happier that they get training. So there's that's one of the incentives that you can learn about if you're interested in learning more about Maxident. And last but not least, it's just my contact information, my direct contact information. I want you to mention Oral Health Webinar. That way I'll know exactly what you've seen and what I've shown you, and that way we can talk about understanding how much potential income is in your practice and how I can harvest that information for you. So I wish to thank you for attending this webinar, and I certainly hope I've kept it nice and short. Is there any questions that anyone might have?
Thank you very much. Very informative. We do have some questions here, so I'll let you know what they are, and you can answer them. The first question we have is, does Maxident have the software features that my office currently uses, like scheduling, EDI, and how do I see it?
Oh, yes. Maxident, I guess I wasn't clear. Maxident, its core is practice management software. So, again, it's been around, practice management has been around in Canada for 35 years. It's mature. So the majority of us practice management systems all basically do the same thing. So whether you have Maxident or another brand for practice management, yes, Maxident will do that, and then some, which is these three income systems that I was just talking about.
Okay, thank you. So the next question here we have is, does Maxident integrate with the digital technology sold by Henry Schein?
Yes, it does. So if you are using a Henry Schein product now, you'd probably be using digital x-rays, using DEXIS, so yes, of course. We harvest the information out of, we convert, I should say, the information out of Dentrix, and of course we'll integrate your digital x-ray images for DEXIS, or basically any other system as well. Also, we have our own imaging software program, which is different than those sold from the supply companies. And what's key is that personally, I or Maxim does not care where you buy your x-rays from. So like DEXIS will work great if you buy all of your equipment from Schein. But say Sinclair's carries something or Patterson carries something that you like and you want to integrate it. Well, you can't integrate it into their software. So when you use MaxiViewer, which is mine, I don't care where you buy it from. My goal is to integrate all digital images from any brand sold by any supplier and integrate it into your data. So we do that. We do integrate with digital technology from Schein. Also, we have our own.
Okay, excellent. Next question we have is, how much does Maxident cost?
It varies. If you have practice management now, there are incentives from Maxident specifically. You can actually get a replacement practice management software program for $1. And if you have digital x-ray or looking to get digital x-ray, you would just add on things like MaxiViewer, or if you want to go paperless and go charting, you can replace your paper charts. You can add something called MaxiChart. So there's different incentives that we have during the course of the year. So it really varies on when you want to do it. So I would honestly say anywhere from, in all fairness, low end probably $5,000 to $15,000 overall.
Okay, and excellent. Okay, and here's the last question. How do you do your training?
With that training grant that I was talking about earlier, we can do it obviously on site. So we come into your office and we are in your practice with your staff. So we can do it online, we can do it on site, we can do a mixture of both. And also, once you become a Maxident client, the nice thing about it is there's always constant free training for your staff. That's beautiful. So one of the if I can call it again, griefs that doctors have said to me is the need to constantly train staff is one. However, the need to actually, the reason why it's so costly is because staff come and go out of the practice. So it's a never-ending expense. So what we've done with Maxident is that as long as you've got your software contract up to date, and in all fairness, 99% of dental offices do, it's all included, so you don't have to worry about it.
Excellent. Well, Cheryl, thank you very much for putting on the webinar tonight. It was very informative. Much appreciated. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me, or you can email Cheryl at the email address you see on the screen now. And thank you very much. And again, if there's any questions, please feel free to contact us.